Hello, people. Today I'm going to discuss why I think you should vote for Andrew Yang as an American citizen and why I am a proud member of the Yang Gang. So, this video is going to be very opinion based, so don't take it personally. I'll try and explain some of his policies, but I won't go too into detail because I probably butcher them. And I'll leave some links in the description to some sources and whatnot. So, you're probably thinking, what does a 17-year-old English lad know about American politics? And the answer is not very much. But anyway, I'd like to commentate and sort of give my opinion, and we'll see how it goes. So, for a start, I think Yang is extremely genuine. So, when he first announced this campaign, I believe it was back in towards the end of 2017, which was a lot earlier than a lot of other candidates. No one knew him. I think it was like something along the lines of like his first announcement was he sent it to his Gmail contacts or email contacts or something along the lines of that. So that just shows how unknown he was. And even now, I don't know the figures, but I just know his name recognition is a lot lower than that of most of the candidates. So for a start, he really turned his campaign around and started to get people to notice him. It started to really pick up momentum when he started going on podcasts. Obviously, everyone knows about the Joe Rogan podcast he went on. I think it was back in March time. That could be wrong. Ignore me on that. But yeah, lots of people watch that. Any Yang Gang members will know what I'm on about. So if you've not watched that, I'll leave a link in the description for you. Make sure you go watch it. You'll probably be converted. You'll probably be yanged, as they say. So as well, I've watched him on the H3 podcast. I've seen him on other places. And that's how he really started, because obviously the Yang Gang is very internet based. A lot of young people like him, and it's a very mixed coalition of people. You've got former Trump supporters, independents, different types of Democrats, young people. You know, he's a very unifying figure in my opinion. So yeah, he's very genuine, and when he answers questions in interviews on the debate stage, he always answers them directly. He's always got a response. He doesn't give a politician's answer, as they say. Politicians' answers are said to be quite vague and wishy-washy, whereas he's always straight to the point. He'll give you facts and figures. As well as that, I think he's just a nice guy. So, like, he cracks jokes, he doesn't wear a tie, he's very down to earth. And, yeah, I've seen him on podcasts, and I like him as a person. So that puts him forward to me already, and I think that's why a lot of people support him. So, building on that, he isn't a politician, so I think it was Venture for America he set up, was the not-for-profit organisation he started back in 2011. So he's got experience running a business, and you know it's maybe not conventional experience for someone running for president, but his experience nonetheless. And a lot of people put him down by saying he's never held political office. Trump never held political office, and obviously Trump's an outlier and maybe not an example we should use. But at the end of the day, he still is the president. So yeah, I can't remember what the award he got, but he was I wouldn't say endorsed, I can't remember the word, but Obama awarded him, he gave him some kind of award or acknowledged him back in 2014, I think. But again, I'll put that in the description, an article or something to that, since I'm not 100% sure. So let's get on to the meaty stuff. So, in my opinion, most of his policies are well fleshed out, and he tackles issues that a lot of people wouldn't think of. So the main one, the freedom dividend, universal basic income, UBI. So again, I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I don't want to butcher an explanation, so I'll leave something in the description, a link to something that will properly explain it for you. But basically the idea is he wants to implement a VAT tax on big companies and every single on product. It's similar to a sales tax essentially. So we'll take a proportion of, so he says, every Google ad, every automatic truck mile, other things like that, every Facebook ad, Google search. So he'll take a percentage of that, and he'll take the money from the big companies and put it back into the hands of the people. And they'll do that by giving every person over the age of 18 until death, as long as you're an American citizen, no matter whether you're a billionaire or someone on Social Security, he'll give you $1,000 every month, so $12,000 a year. I think in an average lifetime is expected to be something like $700,000. Again, I'll give you a link to that. But just think how much that could help people. What he's running on is the idea is that what got Trump elected was automation. So rather than immigrants, so Trump in states like Michigan, I think it was Michigan, Pennsylvania, he won them by a slim margin. The idea was he stoked up the fears of these people, millions of people who'd lost their jobs in factories and stuff like that. He basically said it was the immigrants taking your jobs, whereas Yang believes that's automation. So, for example, you see McDonald's, things like the automatic self-service, you see that in shops, you see that in lots of places. It's creeping up on us and taking jobs. I think he said something like Amazon itself as a company is taking 30% of retail jobs, and there's something like 3.5 million truckers in the UK, in the US, well, not the UK, and basically those jobs will disappear as automated trucks happen, and something like an estimated 7 million jobs in diners and roadside stops, which rely on a lot of the business from these truckers. So you're talking 10 million at least jobs, sort of up for grabs to be automated away. So I believe they're his main policy. So he's also got the Medicare for All, which is going to be released soon. And also one other one that stands out to me is a lot of other presidential candidates for the Democratic Party don't really take nuclear power seriously. They neglect it. Whereas Yang understands that nuclear power is a key player in the transition to green energy. So he was discussing, I saw him at a town hall, I think it was a CNN town hall, where he discussed thorium, which is, I think, might be an alternative to plutonium. I can't remember if it's plutonium or uranium, don't quote me on that. But basically, it's a greener alternative. I think it's more energy efficient or something, or it might produce less radioactive waste. But at the end of the day, he understands it. His dad was a physicist, so he understands it. He's got keen knowledge, and everything I've seen him asked, he always seems to have an answer that he answers directly with, rather than sort of just fluffing around the edges and giving a very vague outline like most other politicians. And furthermore, on top of this, he understands that the Democratic Party just wants to discuss the impeachment of Trump. Whereas he doesn't. He understands, he agrees with the impeachment of Trump, but he realises it could backfire. And I think that goes along with the idea that he doesn't demonise Trump supporters. He sees them as real people, unlike a lot of Democratic voters. I think it was him and Bernie Sanders are the only two Democratic candidates who could take more than 10% of Trump's votes from him, which would be very, very important in the actual general election if he got the nomination. So I think I've seen the comments. Again, this is very anecdotal, but everywhere in the comments of YouTube videos, I always see former Trump supporters saying how they've been yanged. So, you know, he's very, he's not polarising, or not nearly as polarising as other candidates. And in my opinion, he could win, because obviously he's got an uphill battle getting the nomination. But if he were to do that, I believe very strongly, hand on heart, that he could win the general election very easily against Trump, because he's an outsider and he's someone who will take on the establishment, which will take a lot of Trump voters. And Trump doesn't know him. Trump's going to struggle to insult him because he's so genuine and so straightforward and to the point. So thanks for watching, and I hope I've managed to convince you why Andrew Yang is such a good candidate and why you should vote for him in the primaries and hopefully getting the nomination, as unlikely as some people might think that is. And I hope to see you in the next video.